Other interesting political news, RFK Jr. has a message on the potential poison in food going viral on social media. This after he was recently appointed head of HHS, and it's a little bit of a long video, but I think it's pretty important, especially because of the gravity of the industry size and just how many people consume these products. Now, this comes to us thanks to Benny Johnson on the good old X Twitter, when she says, quote, "America, your new HHS Secretary, RFK Jr., has a message for you about our food. This is the single most important video on the internet right now. We must stop poisoning ourselves and our children. Soon this will be illegal. Can't happen fast enough. Thank God." There's I was going to say Bobby's voice is, I was about to say his voice is infinitely better than mine. Usually, maybe not in this case, but what he has to say is, without too much further ado, and for those who are just tuning in on the Spotify or the Apple podcast, you're looking at a picture, or rather a video, of RFK Jr. suited up as all men should, but he's standing in front of, Captain Crunch, Doritos, Cheetos, was this Welch's, I was about to say gel snacks, the little gummy snacks, which is just sugar, and dyes. Not too much further ado.
This is what most Americans innocently put into their bodies these days, and most alarmingly, into the bodies of their children. And it's no coincidence that Americans die earlier than Canadians or Germans or Italians or Japanese or Koreans or Australians or most any other comparable country.
That's insane. Also, you're not seeing on the graph, but I'll bring it up. The healthcare spending per capita in the U.S. is $12,308, and we live to 76.1 years old on average. United Kingdom life expectancy is 80.8 years old, and they spend $5,387 per capita healthcare spending. This is according to life expectancy in 2021 and healthcare spending in 2021 or newest year, which that's insane. So they say the comparable country average would be 82.4 years old, $6,003. And we spend, double, and we live less years, which, that's pretty interesting. Also pathetic.
Any other comparable country. And it wasn't always that way. Until the early 1990s, our life expectancy was the same or better than other developed countries. Then suddenly, more and more Americans began suffering from chronic diseases, from obesity, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, Alzheimer's, heart disease, and all kinds of autoimmune diseases. Our maternal mortality rate soared to the highest of any developed country on earth. Same with infant mortality. Like the frog in the slowly boiling water, we didn't really notice as we got sicker and sicker. We've grown now to accept chronic disease conditions as normal. But now, in 2024, we're finally waking up to this cataclysm, and we're asking ourselves, how in the world did this happen? Well, a big part of it is our diet. Restaurants that serve contaminated food are fined or shut down. But when it's the government that approves the poisons in our food, a few people get very, very rich, and the toxins end up in every supermarket.
And none of them get fired, because it's public sector. Maybe they get a paid leave. A paid leave of absence.
Aisle. Let me show you what I mean. Doritos, Cheez-Its, Captain Crunch, gummy bears. Everyone knows that these are junk foods, so maybe you wouldn't be too surprised to see that the ingredients include a lot of poisons, including a harmful yellow dye called tatrazine, or yellow dye number 5. What you may not know is that this dye was originally made out of the sludge that's left over when you turn coal into coke for blast furnaces. It's called coal tar, and I've actually sued many big industries for legacy contamination of coal tar all around the country because it's so toxic and it's so harmful to the environment and human beings. A century ago, it was just an obnoxious industrial byproduct that everybody was trying to figure out ways to get rid of.
I know, let's put it in food. I mean, it's an interesting idea, scientist, and they did it.
The ways that they did that was by paving roads. But then a British chemist figured out that the coal tar could be used to derive fabric dye. And if fabric dye, why not food? Food manufacturers began using it to cover up the discoloration of low-quality foods that they wanted to pass off on unsuspecting customers. They didn't know back then that this yellow dye, tartrazine, causes tumors, asthma, developmental delays, neurological damage, ADD, ADHD, hormone disruption, gene damage, anxiety, depression, intestinal injuries. Well, we know it now. We've known this for decades. That's why tartrazine is heavily restricted in other countries. In some countries, foods with tartrazine have a warning label that it may cause ADHD in children. Today, it's made from petroleum, not coal tar. Either way, it's crazy to add this to your kids' favorite foods. It doesn't even change the flavor. This yellow dye isn't just in junk food. It's in the foods that we consider healthy. It's in everyday kids' snacks like popcorn, mac and cheese, fruit snacks. It's in sports drinks like Gatorade and so-called vitamin water. It's even added to chicken broth, to corn, to pickles, to mustard, and to yogurt. And so, of course, our kids get sick. And we lovingly feed them chewable vitamins, which have, surprise, tartrazine. And so the cycle continues until the coughs and asthma kick in, at which point you go to pick up some cough syrup. And yeah, you guessed it, tartrazine. I've been picking on tartrazine today, but that's just one of at least 100 chemical poisons that our health agencies allow into our children's food. I can make a video just like this to talk about Red 40, BHA, BHD, potassium bromate, chemical after chemical, and on and on and on. If just one of them can cause all of these problems, imagine what they're doing in combination. That has never been studied. If we took all of these chemicals out, our nation would get healthier immediately. We'd have fewer sick days. We'd have better focus. We'd have less anxiety. Our kids would learn more easily. We'd lose weight. We'd have more energy. We'd have fewer tumors and longer lives. It's not all dark. Over the past 16 years, the government has banned 8 chemical additives that cause cancer, genetic damage, asthma, and many of the other health conditions as tartrazine does. And you know what's interesting? All 8 of those crucial steps forward in our kids' health were taken under President Trump. But the Democrats who claim to be all about healthcare have stood by watching other countries ban these poisons and make our kids sick, asthmatic, hyperactive, and depressed. They left them on every supermarket shelf in America. They even used your tax money to put them in your kids' school lunch. So their big food and their big ag donors probably gave them all that golden handshake and the big money hug. And their big pharma donors probably called them up and thanked them also, because now they're going to make billions selling Adderall, Prozac, and rescue inhalers. Enough is enough. President Trump and I are going to stop the mass poisoning of American children. Together, we're going to make America healthy again.
One of the best appointments Trump has made in his life. And yeah, it's crazy because to think about it, it's dye. You don't even, there's no function to it except look. It's not going to taste any differently. You know, they still put it in there. Ridiculous. They got 3.1 million views. And I should probably have a disclaimer. Talk to your doctor, yada yada, all that kind of stuff. But truth be told, this will probably only be on Rumble. We'll see. Now, one of the first comments coming from is from JD Beach. It says, quote, love this post. Picture of RFK Jr. looking angry. Says, quote, whenever I am about to open a bag of chips, I picture RFK Jr. giving me this look, and I put down the bag of chips and get myself a carrot. I got 82 likes. The top comments coming from the folks coming for, let's see here. Let's see here. JP Speaks says, I found this video very interesting about Fruit Loops, which, yeah, look at, it's so weird. They look so bizarre comparing Fruit Loops across over at different countries versus the United States manufactured.
Debate. But with artificial food dyes, they have shown all over the world that they can use colorants that come from fruit.
This is the Canadian version.
This is the brightness of the Canadian version.
Yeah, this is the same. It's both Kellogg's, the same manufacturer. Now, interestingly enough, might have to fact check this. They say it's Canadian, yet in the bag of alleged Canadian Fruit Loops, I don't see any pieces of mousse, maple syrup, or hockey puck components. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll go with it. Maybe it is Canadian Fruit Loops.
Just for visibility. And this is the brightness of artificial food dyes.
Well, it also looks like a ripoff. Wait, it looks like they're, well, let's see here. The boxes are about the same size. The contents, it looks like you're getting double the Fruit Loops in Canada. Ridiculous.
For visibility. And this is the brightness of artificial food dyes.
So they're getting double the quantity? Now, granted, I'm not sure if the price point is the same, but the boxes look about the same size.
So, of course, Kellogg and other food companies will argue children prefer this over this, just as they would prefer cocaine over sugar. That doesn't make it okay.
Interesting contrast. But yeah, that is one of the weirdest things. Now, a wise man by the name of Thomas Sewell once said, there's no such thing as solutions, only trade-offs. So I suspect, and maybe let me know in the comments if you're, I would love it to hear, especially if you're an industry professional in the food manufacturing. I wonder, do U.S. manufacturing of food, do they do it this way because it's cheaper to do that? Another thing unique to the United States, and again, there are variables of why this is true, but it's one of the cheapest places on the planet to buy food relative to your income in the United States. Granted, it's inflated, it's grown throughout the years, but it's still traditionally been one of the cheaper places to eat. Now, I'm not sure if they're using these chemicals just for aesthetic reasons to make them look prettier, or look them, in this case, just make it look more edible, I suppose, or if they're doing it for malicious reasons, or if they're doing it for cost reasons. So I'm not sure if the American public will they be irate if this costs 2 to 3 times more to manufacture. I mean, clearly these manufacturers can make a profit both ways, but that might, if I were to guess, that might be a variable as why they're not doing it that way in the U.S. Scrolling down more and more, you have someone by the name of Julia saying, quote, I want to know the reason behind anyone not support this man and his message. Explain to me how you could want that crap he's getting rid of in our country for your kids or in your body. Make it make sense to me. And she got 339 likes. Sadie Supa Doge says, let's go RFK Jr. There's a picture that says, make America healthy again, getting 125 likes. Let's see here. Donald Trump Jr., the Truth Social parody account, says, big government, big food, big ag, big pharma are quaking in their boots right now, getting 98 likes. Scrolling down more and more. So, in-contrarian statements. A lot of people giving kudos to Bobby being appointed recently for HHS. And again, I wasn't joking when I said he should do this for all those additives, because I think if you put the actual food items on the table, and which he did, it's a great visual for folks. And a lot of people, it sounds innocent when you look at a food ingredient label, it says yellow dye 5. If you're not really into researching it, or you don't go down the rabbit hole, so to say, it sounds just like almost like a dye of red, like a pen dye or something. Like, it's just a different. You don't realize it's a harsh chemical. I think a lot of people are just thinking it's like a dye. When you go to the store, you used to get the food dye and the little cute squeeze things, and those weren't chemicals. But maybe I think people need to learn about that and realize, it's not just yellow dyes, it's actually a chemical from somewhere. Scrolling down more and more. Goated Tank says, can't believe it's even in our toothpaste, getting 10 likes, which I'll have to check that. I'm a big fan of the OG Pepsodent toothpaste. Partially because it's the cheapest price per unit, but still. Cheryl Dickerson says, quote, we need to keep fighting this the swamp because it feels good, getting 6 likes. Scrolling Hall of Fame says, RFK Jr. on our food looks like it's about to serve up a policy dish that might just look too spicy for some taste. It has like, what is that, a pepper emoji? Getting 7 likes. So yeah, let's see here. Yeah, I kind of think, Bobby should do this for every one of those chemicals he wants to get rid of, not just to show people the proliferate. I was going to say, if you click that subscribe button, very well may assist by speaking ineptitudes. When I first started the show, I had barely any subscribers, well, maybe family members, and I spoke terribly, even faster than I do right now, and believe it or not, stumbled over my words worse than Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs. But as I slowly but surely gained subscribers, I've become better and better at speaking. Yes, the bar was quite low to begin with, granted, but there's been a modicum of improvement nevertheless, fueling my theory that the more subscribers I get, the better at speaking I become, and maybe get to the point of one day getting through an entire episode speaking perfectly articulately. Granted, some might say it's a pie in the sky dream, but you have to, as wise man would say something to the kin of, you have to, if you shoot for the moon, you'll eventually still land among the stars. So if you can do me a favor and click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. And going back to what I was attempting to say, I think that'd be great if Bobby came out with one video per thing he wants to ban to show just a proliferation of every product it's in, and show like here's side effects, and he'll have him reference specific studies, sample sizes, to show like we, based on the available data, we know this causes an issue or not. Maybe some things will stay, and yeah, it's going to have a big ripple effect in the grocery industry. And it is going to be, Trump would say, huge implications. It'll be interesting to see how many changes there are, and if there is a correlation to price, And let me know, would you be willing to pay, and who knows, maybe the cost association in this case is nothing, we just have no dye and just looks more natural. But in some cases, maybe increase the cost. Yeah, I think that's something we have to ask ourselves. I think he'd probably be of the mindset we should pay more to be healthy, and you would probably save more because you didn't have to buy those associated medications and that much, and so on and so forth. But let me know what your thoughts are, because as always, I'd be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your enemies, heck, tell your coworkers, tell anyone, everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.